once again, my Pontiac High School students. Today we are going to be looking at the rights, duties, and responsibilities of U.S. citizens. Let's get to it. First, the rights of citizens. Citizens are guaranteed certain rights within our legal system. Just because you're a citizen, you have these rights. Examples of these rights include the right to vote. We can participate in our democratic process and select representatives that will act in our interests in government. We can hold elected office. Any citizen can do this, although there are age requirements on certain offices. We have basic freedoms, including the right to free speech, free press, freedom of religion, and the right to a fair trial. The rights of U.S. citizenship go well beyond this, but these are a sample of those that are most important to us. We also have duties as citizens. Duties are things that we have to do. These are not optional. Duties are required of us. We must do them in order to support our government's efforts to serve the needs of a greater society. So there are certainly things that we have to do as U.S. citizens. One of those things is we have to follow the law. See, laws exist to protect people and to settle disputes. They exist to protect us. They exist to protect others. They exist to help us figure out who's right and who's wrong in certain important situations. And without laws, the society would lack the order that is required to function effectively. Without these laws, we'd be unable to do a lot of the things that we need to do and that we want to do for the benefit of all. Now, this idea that we have to follow those laws is wrapped up in the idea of something called the rule of law. The rule of the law is the idea that nobody in a society can violate those laws, not even the government. The government that creates our laws is also has the duty to follow those laws. They can't break them. So the President of the United States has to follow the same laws that we have to follow. Okay, defending the nation. In the United States today, we have a volunteer military. That is, right now, if you want to be in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, you're going to volunteer to do so. You're going to sign up. But in times of extraordinary need, our government has the power to compel armed service. That is, they have the power to force you to serve in the Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. This sort of forced military service is accomplished through a draft. In the draft, citizens who are healthy and able to serve are randomly selected and then forced into military service. Now, we have not had a draft since the Vietnam War. So the draft has not been used, but it is a tool that our government has and can use and folds into the idea of the duties of citizenship. If there is a major crisis, if a draft is held, and if you are selected in that draft, you must serve. You don't have an option, or you will be punished for not complying with that law. Court appearances is another duty that we have as U.S. citizens. This is tied into one of our most basic rights of having a fair trial. We all have the right to a fair trial, and this sometimes means that we have a duty to help our government ensure that there is a fair trial. To do this, citizens are asked to sit on a jury and to judge a person's guilt or innocence. So you might be selected as one of 12 individuals who will sit down and hear a case and listen to what both sides have to say and then come to a decision on guilt or innocence. This is part of our duties. If we're called, we must serve. The court can compel you to testify. This is another thing that they can do. They can compel you to testify if you are a witness that can help prove or disprove someone's guilt. So if a crime takes place and you are a witness to that crime, or you can provide key information that will help determine the case, then the court can force you to give that testimony. That is a duty of citizenship. And again, if you are summoned by a court to give testimony in a case and you fail to do so, you can be punished for that. All right, paying taxes. Another duty, one that we love, right? Paying taxes is something that we have to do. Because without the paying of taxes, our government couldn't provide services. And these services are provided to make our lives better. We often dislike doing this, but our nation literally could not exist if we didn't have some sort of system of taxation. We couldn't have roads, we couldn't have a military, we couldn't have schools, we couldn't have those things in place without a system of taxation. And therefore, all Americans have a duty to pay those taxes. Now, responsibilities. Responsibilities are different than duties. Duties are things that we have to do. We don't have a choice. Responsibilities are things that we should do. But we can choose to be a bad citizen and not do them, and we won't get punished for doing that. We're not required by law to be a good citizen in these ways. So, what are some of these responsibilities, the things that we should do but we don't have to do? Well, voting and holding a government job are good responsibilities that citizens can have, particularly the voting side. Our most basic right is the right to select our representatives in government. And it is our responsibility to educate ourselves about those who want our vote. So if an individual is running for president or they're running for city council, it is our responsibility to make sure that we know what their positions are, so that when we vote for them, we know what we're voting for. Now, if a person desires, they may take on the additional responsibility of running for public office and trying to actually impact our government in that way, or for applying for a different sort of governmental job. And this can be anything from being a secretary to the mayor, or to running the sanitation department, all the way down to working as a teacher in a public school, which is in its own way a government job. All right, influencing government. We have a responsibility to influence the government when we feel strongly about a particular issue. We can do this by raising money to support a candidate or a message from a particular interest group, and spread the ideas or the information about those political candidates or those political ideas. Others can write newspaper editorials, writing letters into the newspaper for that newspaper to publish is a way to influence the government. You can attend government meetings. You can go to a meeting of your school board and just voice your opinion on what the school board is doing. Or you can go try to have an audience with your U.S. senator and share your opinions with them. Some people do this very personally. Others do it just by spending large sums of money or donating to political causes. And this is certainly a power and a right that people have. Serving the communities is a final responsibility that we're going to discuss today. Not all of our responsibilities of citizens relate to the government. Some just relate to the people themselves. Responsible citizens try to make sure that the community as a whole is functioning well, and that the members of the community are all doing the best that they can within, our reasonable scope of influence. Now, responsible citizens can keep our communities clean. That is, make sure that we throw away our own trash or pick up litter as we see it. That's one way that you can do it. You can help neighbors in need. So if you see that somebody is struggling with something, don't just walk by them, stop and see if you can help. This could be as simple as helping somebody change a flat tire on their car, or somebody has, the wind has blown away somebody's paperwork and you're just kind of helping them collect it. This is all part of being a good citizen and helping others. Another important way, though, is to respect the differences that make our nation unique and understand that we live in a pluralistic society with many different types of citizens. We have citizens who practice different religions, who speak different languages, who have different political beliefs, but we are all members of one larger community. And respecting those differences and having disagreements, but having polite disagreements, is a part of what it takes to make our society function and function well. Well, those have been our rights, duties, and responsibilities as citizens. I hope that you have learned something today, and farewell.